Yeah.
I've noticed that one of the biggest challenges couples have with the loss of a child
Mm.
is reconnecting again. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's not because one person loves the child or the children more than the other. It's a question of people have different grief patterns.
Hmm.
The way Colin grieves is different from the way his wife would grieve, correct?
Yeah.
Um, and so I've noticed that when these things happen, instead of them coming together, it literally tears them apart.
Hmm.
I just heard you say something, we have each other. How did you make that work? Because I think that's another area where some parents will say, oh, especially coming from a man, definitely. Because men, we don't express ourselves mostly. Our emotions are more internalized and expressive, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in your wife's case, she's very expressive. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I just seen wherever there's a loss, most of the
Hmm.
time, those parents don't survive it because it tears them apart. But in your
Hmm.
case, it
Yeah.
strengthens you guys.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say statistically, it's not actually true that the
Oh,
death of a child breaks most marriages apart. Yeah, it's interesting. Statistically, it's only slightly higher than in America the national average.
okay.
So it's a little bit of a myth, an ongoing myth that people have that the death of a child is going to inevitably result in the marriage falling apart. And marriages fall apart,
Yep.
all the time they fall apart for any different number of reasons. And very often, there's a child loss, but the couple was already struggling, right? But certainly it can exacerbate the situation, right? Any kind of huge stress like that's going to exacerbate the situation. But to answer your question, I want to say a couple things. One is that even when we were grieving differently, we still talked about our grief. I think it's really hard on couples when one person doesn't want to talk about it, and that's true of anything, right? Any kind of crisis in a couple. If one person doesn't want to talk, that's going to be hard. And
Well,
so I think there's a little bit of a myth that some people grieve by not talking about their loss at all. And to my mind, that's avoiding grief. And everybody avoids grief. I don't want to place a value judgment on it. But if you want my honest opinion, grieving means talking about your loss. That's what grieving does. That's what grieving is, right? We have to talk to other people or write songs or dance or express our grief. That's literally how one grieves. One expresses one's grief. And if you're bottling it up, or if you're compartmentalizing it and not thinking about it, you're not actively grieving. You're avoiding your grief, which everybody does, all the time. But if you're a couple and one person is avoiding their grief and one person wants to grieve, it's going to be very hard. But I'll also talk about intimacy. Intimacy is hard for a number of reasons. One is that it's very hard I find, to allow oneself to feel pleasure while you're grieving.
yeah.
There's a lot of self-punishment, right? It feels like you're betraying your grief if you even smile or tell a joke, let alone engage in any kind of physical intimacy with your partner.
Right.
And so early on, Gail and I had this idea of self-care. That we were going to try to not punish ourselves. We were going to try to be kind to ourselves as we grieve. And part of that sort of mantra we had was, let's take care of ourselves. Let's try and be kind to ourselves. And if we can, let's allow ourselves to feel intimacy and joy, as a couple. And it took a while. It's not easy, but it helped us. It helped us to think about that as self-care, Yeah.
Wow, that's very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I hope someone heard that and will find it in their heart to open up again. Like you said, don't punish yourself and get to feel life as you go through this state of grieving. Someone just sent a message to us, and I'll read a few questions as we go along. Many people struggle to talk openly about grief. How did you learn to speak about yours? Oh, just okay, there you go. That's a question just came up.
Yeah. Well, I found out. So I'm not Jewish, but my wife is Jewish, and we raised Ruby and Hart as Jews. And so I come from an atheist background, so I didn't really have any like cultural practices around grief. And so I leaned on the Jewish rituals of mourning. And one of them is sitting Shiva. So for those of you who don't know what Shiva is, it's the first 7 nights after the funeral. That's what Shiva means in Hebrew, 7. And people come to your house every night and literally sit with you in your grief.